Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. I am flying solo today, so no Matt, so just me. But today is March 30th, 2021. And if you're new here, this is a show where we take the week's news and try and make it fun and interesting. And we just find interesting tech news of the week and try and break it down into small, digestible bits for you guys to understand. So, it's been a pretty interesting week this week with some things from Twitter and also Tinder. So, we're going to go ahead and kick that off to Aaron to give us a little insight into what's going on with Tinder and Lyft.
Your date has arrived, delivered to your front door just in time to share that Uber Eats order you placed 45 minutes ago. Your wildest convenience dreams are coming true, thanks to Tinder, who has announced a partnership with Lyft that will allow users to gift rides to their matches via an in-app integration. Though, from my perspective, if cab fare is the main thing stopping someone from going on a date with you, you might want to reconsider the time you're about to invest with them. Back to you, nerds.
Man, always with the nerds. I mean, I know I am one, but come on, Aaron. But yeah, this is kind of interesting and a little bit neat at the same time. Two rather large companies coming together, making some interesting integrations here. I think it's a huge win for Lyft to kind of take this away from, say, Uber and kind of get in with Tinder. I do think it's a little interesting, but also kind of cool. That's a interesting way of being a little bit chivalrous. I think this is really neat. I think it's really cool to see two kind of like big players in their fields kind of come together and work together to make themselves both money. I think that this is really neat. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next story. I'm going to send it back over to Aaron to talk about the first tweet that was ever tweeted has been sold.
In the news this week, co-founder and CEO at Twitter, Jack Dorsey, made headlines by selling a non-fungible token, NFT, for the first tweet ever published, written by Dorsey in 2006. The tweet sold for $2.9 million to Sina Estabi, CEO of blockchain company Bridge Oracle, based in Malaysia. If you're like me, you're now probably thinking, WTF or NFTs? Well, NFTs are the online equivalent to a one-of-a-kind object or memorabilia like the Mona Lisa or autographed posters. They're certified to represent the original item in a digital setting where content can be infinitely duplicated online. Analysts in the space are projecting that individuals are likely to jump at the opportunity to purchase NFT artifacts from their favorite stars, musicians, and entrepreneurs. One such analyst was quoted as saying, "Just like people buy physical memorabilia, they'll buy their tweets, posts, and snaps because they want to feel close to that star." Like any new fad, many of us will be sitting back and watching to see if NFTs become more like online art pieces or online trading cards. And there is a lot of ground between those two things when it comes to price and value. What do you nerds think? Are NFTs something useful or just another rich person fad to try and look cool by saying things like, "Yeah, I own the first ever tweet"?
Yeah, thanks for that, Aaron. And thanks for the little quick lesson on what an NFT is. So like Aaron was saying, this is just a way of just saying like, hey, this is an original or like a unique identifier for some object digitally. We'll have a longer video on kind of like a commentary on what these are, how they work, how if you wanted to make one, you could make one. But just know that this does deal with some blockchain type of stuff. It's a pretty interesting technology. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit on this because while I can see what we're trying to do with NFTs and like make something that's digital, unique, like Aaron was saying, that can be duplicated over and over and over again. I also just like don't really care either. I don't think that I'll be spending any money on an NFT ever. So yeah, part of me says that, yeah, this is a pretty neat technology. And then the other part of me is like, well, it does kind of feel like a rich person thing to dump some money into, kind of like art. So yeah, so I don't really know what to think, other than I know I won't be spending my money on it. So yeah, so that's kind of where I am with that. Our last story that we have today, we're just going to go ahead and do live because we didn't make a video for it today. And that is Tesla. If you're in the market for one, and you have a bunch of Bitcoin stockpiled for whatever reason, is now accepting Bitcoin. So if you go to their website and you're looking to purchase, say, like a Model 3 or a Model S, you can go in, and one of the options for how you can pay is to pay with Bitcoin. I think that this is really neat. One, because you're kind of seeing cryptocurrency going mainstream with this. Obviously, like Tesla's owned by Elon Musk, who is kind of on the forefront of a lot of technologies, and obviously tweets a lot about cryptocurrencies. And so I think that this is really cool. I hope that they open it up to other like pretty standard, let's say cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. I think that'd be really neat. One thing that's very interesting, if you think about it, is that the price of Bitcoin fluctuates. So just like the stock market, it can go up and it can go down. So Bitcoin could be like 60K a Bitcoin today, but tomorrow it could be 40. So I'm not sure how they are dealing with that. I guess my thought is that they're probably just going to assume that it's going to continue to rise. So if they can continue to get more and more Bitcoin from these purchases, then they're going to be making even more money in the long run. So that's Bitcoin and Tesla. And so we've got a little bit of a shorter show today. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our tech question of the week. And that is, how long should my PC last, is what that should say. So this is a really interesting question, and we get this a lot. And I think it's a little confusing because companies will try and sell you like a 1-year warranty. Say, I think that's Apple's like standard right now is you buy a new MacBook or a MacBook Pro and they're going to give you a 1-year warranty. Well, they are expecting your computer to last more than a year, and you should as well. So just because they're trying to sell you just because you're only getting a 1-year warranty doesn't mean that that's how long your computer should last. Typically, computers can last anywhere from like 5 to 6 years is pretty standard. So if you take care of it and you don't drop it or physically damage it in any way, 5 to 6 years is like totally normal. And at that point, processors and everything and the actual internal hardware of the computer is starting to get pretty old at that point. So you'll want to more than likely upgrade because it's going to start feeling a little slow. And also those parts just degrade over time, like your battery. As you use them, they will degrade over time and they'll be less and less performant over time. So there's plenty of computers, like I have one right now that can last you over a decade if you take good care of them, and the performance of them doesn't necessarily matter too much. But yeah, 5 to 6 years is generally what you're looking at. I actually have a computer from 2017 that I'm actually streaming on right now. So here within the next year or two, I'll probably be looking for a new machine just to upgrade and get some new parts and just kind of generally take care of my needs, and then this machine will end up just being just kind of like a general use, just kind of look at the news and stuff kind of computer. So I think that's all we have for today. Like I said, just a little bit of a shorter show since it's just me, and you don't have to listen to Matt ramble on. You just have to listen to me, which is great, right? So thank you for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. If you want to read up on any of the stories that I talked about today, you can find them in the description below. And while you're there, go ahead and give us a follow or a subscribe. That way you don't miss any future editions of Tech Talk Tuesday. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to join us live and watch the show live, interact with us live, that's where we're here every Tuesday at 7. If you want to have your question answered live on the show, you can hit either Matt or I up on Twitter. You can see my Twitter handle is right there. At Niels Hardy, because I am boring and can't come up with something more clever. And Matt is at the Matt Ray, because like I always say, he is unique and the only Matt Ray. So thank you again for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. And hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday.